Welcome back to Network Africa on Channels Television. Now, unfortunately, an epidemic of meningitis has killed 545 people in Niger out of over 8,200 people who caught the disease, but now has peaked. The information is coming from the World Health Organization. That information was released last night, and the epidemic is worrying and unprecedented because it was a strain not normally found in Africa, and the appropriate vaccine is in short supply. Back in early May, cases were tripling every 2 weeks, but the number of new cases slowed in the second half of May amid a vaccination campaign in affected areas. As a result, the government shut all schools in the region around the capital, Niamey, and launched a campaign to vaccinate children aged between 2 to 15. Vaccine campaigns were carried out in 8 of the 11 districts affected, and the medical charity Médecins Sans Frontières has sent teams of doctors and case management facilities to tackle the issue. Still more bad news, but from the world's newest country. We understand that according to studies conducted by experts, more than 40% of South Sudan's 11 million people are in need of food aid. That is though to be the highest, or thought to be the highest level of hunger recorded in the world's youngest country, where fighting erupted about 18 months ago. Conflict, high food prices, and the worsening economy have pushed about 4.6 million South Sudanese into hunger. According to the analysis carried out by experts, aid agencies and the government agencies have actually been forced to leave based on the escalation of the violence, specifically aid agencies, and the government has actually not done much in that case to encourage them to stay. Well, we will be going live to South Sudan now, where the head of the South Sudan military, that's Colonel Philip Aguirre, is standing by. Colonel Aguirre, thank you for joining us on the program.
You're welcome.
We'd just like to ask you what is happening concerning the tension in the country at the moment.
The tension in the country is in certain areas that have been witnessing insurgencies operations, particularly in Upper Nile and in Unity State, around the oil fields where the rebels of Riek Machar got a new alliance with another militiaman called Johnson Ulony and tried to attack oil fields, but they have been defeated by the armed forces, and the SPLA is in full control of oil fields in Malut, Adar, and in control of Malakal and a larger part of Unity State. So the tension is located currently in the northern part of Unity State, and this is where the focus is.
So how exactly is the military coping with the situation at the moment, since we understand that you're still seeing the forces of Riek Machar carrying out various attacks, basically?
Well, the military have tried to observe the cessation of hostilities, but the rebels have rejected it, and they have continued with their offensive, which have led the military to respond by pushing the rebels far away from the towns like Bentiu, and the army, as mandated by the Constitution, is providing the protection to the territorial integrity of South Sudan. And with the knowledge that these rebels have some foreign backing, the army is doing its most responsibility to secure the borders of South Sudan and make sure that this insurgency is not exploited by the enemies of peace and those who are trying to derail the sovereignty of South Sudan.
Well, Colonel Aguirre, thank you very much for your updates. We wish you well. Thank you very much. Well, right here in Nigeria, we're looking at updates concerning the fuel situation. Premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, is yet to be fully available at filling stations. and Nigerians are still buying the product above the official 87 naira pump price. Our correspondent Loretta Chiogo reports that queues are still visible at petrol stations despite the promises made after oil marketers met with the Senate committees on downstream and upstream a week ago.
So these are the questions that we have to ask. One, why did marketers not fulfill their promise made on national television to supply fuel after they got their last payment of 154 billion? If they don't have fuel to supply, why is the black market so full of fuel?
6 hours was given as a time frame to normalize the lingering petrol crisis, but over a week since the meeting, the situation is the same. Queues are still very evident at petrol stations, while some others remain closed. The Senate committees on petroleum upstream and downstream had called a meeting with oil marketers with the aim to sorting out the lingering crisis in the country. In Lagos, the queues and the price hike of the product do not give any hope. Petrol sells for between 100 and 150 naira, while black marketing thrives with the product selling for 700 naira.
This subsidy that everybody, these marketers said they are owing them, I don't even know the impact of the subsidy, because now there is no light, there is no petrol, there is no water, everything is just standstill.
In Delta State, the product seems available and queues are disappearing. But most petrol stations sell the product above the government's approved pump price of 87 naira. The reaction by motorists is a mixed grill here.
No, the 87 is better. In fact, we can go down far better. But in the absence of that, we make do with this. It's not good enough. But then, what do? We just hope that the new government will be able to effect the change.
We find it very difficult. It's not very easy at all. I have to keep.
Some consumers in Ondo State, southwest Nigeria, are also yet to buy the product at the official price of 87 naira. They lament that some of the marketers had adjusted their pumps to read faster than normal, thereby cheating unsuspecting buyers. At the NNPC mega station in Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital, the product is sold at the official price, but with a long queue.
Assuming we have enough fuel, we are ready to sell it 24 hours. We are ready. Assuming we have fuel.
Oil marketers have accused the Jonathan-led administration of owing subsidies of over 200 billion naira. And as long as the crisis is yet to be fully resolved, Nigerians may either have to continue living with the current trend or reject it. Loretta Chiogo, Channels Television News.